Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats, talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
I'm ready. Why do I always do this,
It's
man?
always perfect timing. Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the 100 and I want to say 13th episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. It might be the 14th now. It is the 14th now, the 114th episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. It is I, Colton Robertson, and you're back for Loki's Losers. And you know what that means. We are losers who are watching Loki. I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What up? What up? Episode was a banger, and I'm so glad we're finally talking about it. Gotta get stuff off my chest.
Finally, the day after it came out. What about you, Miles Buttress? How you doing?
Same as Joseph. I've been looking forward to this since I watched it yesterday. I have my nice little, at work, I'm just like, you know what? I know it came out this morning. I'm going to wait until lunch. I'll watch it over lunch. I'll go eat and I'll just put my phone up and watch the episode. You assholes. I see the message as soon as I wake up, 2:00 in the morning. Fuck. Oh my God. Opening scene.
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah. Oh my fucking God. What's going on? And I'm like, oh, fuck me. So I'm sitting there supposed to be working. I have, work pulled up on one screen and I have fucking Disney Plus pulled up on the other screen watching Loki at work because I'm like, I can't fucking wait until lunch. I need to know what happens. And
boy, did you find out.
It's fucking wild. Fucking crazy.
No, here's the thing. There was one thing where you were like, oh, what? And then they were like, oh, here's another, oh, what?
Yeah.
And then the last thing, and you're like, oh, what?
So my coworker, my mentor, because it's an internship, he loves, he's watching all these. Got him. I told him to watch Rebels because he was in the middle of Clone Wars and he was like watching all of Clone Wars to watch Bad Batch. And I told him, I was like, once you're done with Clone Wars, season 7, chef's kiss. Most fantastic Star Wars television ever created. And
it's up there.
So he finally watched that. We had talked about that. I told him, I was like, all right, well, you need to watch Rebels once you're done with Bad Batch. So he's going to watch that too. But he knows that I watch these shows during my lunch. And so he asked me, and I told him that what you guys said, and I was like, I don't know if I can fucking wait on this dude. Doesn't know that I watched it during work, obviously. But he was asking me about it, and I explained it to him. I was like, there's like 10 minutes of, at the beginning, you're like, okay, this is about how I expected this to go. Not completely expected, but you know what? This is flowing how I expected it to. Then you're like, a couple minutes of like, hold on, what? Then it's like, okay.
It's like, oh my God. It's like, yeah, all right.
Hold on.
Ooh, no.
Okay.
Wait. Oh.
Okay.
No, please, God, no. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No,
Well, yeah.
Did you cry?
And so it's like,
yes, twice.
didn't because I was at work, but I almost. But so like my explanation to him, I was like 10 minutes of like, okay, couple minutes of hold on, then 10 more minutes of okay, I'm following with this, and then 20 minutes of oh, what? No, what?
Yeah, exactly. It was just one thing after the next with this one,
Yeah.
and I loved it. There were a few times during the episode where I thought, oh, I might not love this. Like, eventually, I was like, I really need them to, like, rein in this love story with these last two episodes. Because here's the thing, that is the route they are going. They are going love story. Full fucking force.
They're going doppelbanger.
They are going doppelbanger. And another thing, this episode will have a 55-minute segment tacked on to the end of it. with me and Aurora Carter talking again, and we dive really deeply into our beef with this entire storyline, pretty much the entire 45 of those 55 minutes. And I'll reserve my beef for then, and I'll tell you what I think I might like about it now. So, there's not a lot. It's mostly just that, like, there's no one else who will understand the other quite like them. But here's the thing. Can Loki really understand Sylvie? She's been growing up in apocalypses.
It's weird, and you wouldn't expect them to understand each other, but at the same time, like,
they are the same.
The only person who could truly, like, who Loki could truly love and who could truly love Loki, and it would work out completely, is Loki.
Okay, wait.
Because I think
we talking about romantic love or platonic love?
Romantic.
Or is that the word? Is that the word platonic?
Yes.
Is that like
platonic? Yeah. You're right.
Dude,
yeah.
This is totally platonic. This is totally platonic.
No.
I don't.
Buddy, did you see the article I sent you?
Loki was fucking crying.
Don't believe it, bro. I don't.
Loki was crying.
I know, but like, imagine if you see yourself die. He saw himself die and he cried. Whenever he saw literally Thanos snap his neck, he cried. That's common.
Here's my thing.
It's common.
Don't get me wrong, Joe. I pray. I am, for the love of God, help me. I hope they save this storyline somehow, because if they keep going, I might not like the end of the show.
Okay. I don't think the romantic part, the sexual part is a big, I don't think that's like the thing they're going for.
Well, obviously, they never do that. They never do the sexual.
I don't think they're going sexual, but I do think they're going romantic.
Well, I think it's just like an understanding of
the thing that caused the variant spike. You don't look at a platonic role. You don't look at someone platonically like that.
No, but that's the thing, is that Loki's sole purpose is to disrupt. That's all he's meant for. And in this moment, it's the first time in his life where he's not meant to do that, and he wants to slow down and actually talk to a person and not care about an evil plan. This is the first time that a Loki has done that. I literally, I just think it's just the interaction between them, of them realizing, like, oh my gosh, like, we've lived our lives as this evil disruptor, and like, we don't have to, and like, we can understand each other even better now because we have a person to talk to that fully understands me. It's like, I don't know.
No, don't get me wrong. I am with you 100% that is where we stand as of this moment. As of this moment, they have not made that leap. They haven't expressly stated, I have feelings for you, you have feelings for me, and they haven't really divulged that information anywhere else. Mobius gave Loki shit, but he didn't say expressly, yeah, you're right. Clearly he has an affinity for Sylvie. There's no doubt about that. I hope it's not romantic. I hope it's just that he's never felt this before and doesn't know how else to express it. However, and obviously, before I read this, I would like everyone to know that art is up for your interpretation, and whether or not you want them to be romantic is up to you, ultimately. It doesn't matter even what the writer has to say. He has an intention, but you can have your own interpretation. That's how it goes. But Michael Waldron, when referencing this situation, there's a Marvel.com article with an interview from the head writer of the show, Michael Waldron, and the headline of the article by Rachel Page on Marvel.com, Loki, inside the decision to have him fall in love with another version of himself.
Love it.
Yeah, so here's Michael Waldron. That was one of the cruxes of my pitches. There was going to be a love story. We went back and forth for a little about it, like, do we really want to have this guy fall in love with another version of himself? Is that too crazy? But in a series that, to me, is ultimately about self-love and self-reflection and forgiving yourself, it just felt right to have that be Loki's first love story. And here's the thing. I'm cool with that. I really am. But
I think just the word love implies so much, but the spectrum of love is so vast. Like,
I'm with you. I'm with
it's
you.
vast. Like,
I get that, but
Michael
the
Waldron.
love story part, kind of, you don't say love story about a platonic relationship.
you have a guy that's hated himself his whole life, and he's starting to love himself.
I get that, but you don't say love story about that.
Yes, you do.
You use other words to describe that.
Okay. Okay. Maybe this
All right.
article is
All right.
misdirection.
All right, Joe. Michael Waldron. The look that they share at that moment. A blossoming friendship. Then, for the first time, they both feel a twinge of, oh, could this be something more than a blossoming friendship? What is this I'm feeling? And he says, these are two beings of pure chaos that are the same person falling in love with one another. That's a straight up and down branch, and exactly the sort of thing that would terrify the TVA. Here's the thing. I want you to keep your perspective of it. That's not what I'm not trying to dissuade you at all. I am just telling you the intention of the creator.
Until they kiss,
God, I pray
until they kiss or have any whatever.
Until we see a full-on sex scene.
No,
between
dude, there. I don't know. Like he even says it. It's like he likes the self-love and the self-reflection, and that's what the relationship is. It's literally self-reflection.
And I'm with you. I'm for sure with you. And me and Aurora dive into that more later. So I'm trying not to exactly spit out the same takes twice, which is why I'm kind of limiting myself in this conversation. But I don't know. I don't think you can have your cake and eat it too. They can't be the same person and also not be the same person, in my opinion. I think if we're going to go that route, Sylvie should and I think that we need to accept Sylvie is Sylvie. Forget about the fact that she's Loki, at all.
Well, and I think they're already kind of leaning into that with giving her, not having her just be a variant that, she was pulled off whenever she was an adult. Having her be a variant from childhood shows she didn't grow up as Loki. Having her choose her own name. Doing a different type of magic. She is drastically different from Loki.
Yeah,
she is a very different person.
It seems every Loki is vastly different, though.
Yeah, well, but
by the post-credit scene, it seems every single one of them is way
fair.
None of them female.
Way different.
What
the fuck? One of them is an alligator?
I fucking love it.
We dive into a scene by scene. Let's dive into a scene by scene, and we'll talk about that at the very end. We'll save our multiple Lokis for maybe not the end, but there will be other times where we can, really, really dive into this. But let's dive into the events of the Nexus event. The Nexus event. Which I just loved. We open on young Sylvie in Asgard, being taken by the TVA, by Judge Ravonna as a hunter, which tells us there's a hierarchy that you can get promoted on. It is not just work you to death, it's work and you might get a promotion too. So now we're just really on the nose with the parallels to our workforce, I feel like. But I loved this scene, just getting this little bit of a background. Okay, this provides us with the information that Sylvie was in fact taken when she was a child, and we speculated that heavily last week, and gives us that hierarchy. But we also see Ravonna take a nice little elevator up to the timekeepers, and we see them for the first time, which is wild.
Okay, before we go on to the timekeepers, this of them just taking Sylvie, gives credence that they're she's really not. She didn't do anything to disrupt the sacred timeline.
No,
she was doing nothing.
Technically, we do see that she did, but it seems so fucking insignificant because whenever they
what's my
cause
Nexus
the reset
event?
charge,
I don't remember.
Whenever they do the reset charge, you see the toys and shit fade away. which means whatever the Nexus event was that they deemed were like far enough off the sacred timeline that they had to, reset it, could have been as fucking minor as she was playing with toys and she wasn't supposed to be.
Or that she was playing with toys and did the wrong thing with those toys.
Yeah, which like falls into the, you clock into work late? Sorry, you're,
okay,
you were supposed to clock in on time. Like it's so fucking insignificant. They caused the downfall of the TVA borderline because she was fucking playing with toys.
My favorite theory now is Miss Minutes is running everything, and there's no timekeepers. No, literally, this is legit. This is a legit theory that a lot of people are backing. Like,
I'm with you. I think it's whoever's controlling Miss Minutes.
Yeah,
I don't think it is Miss Minutes herself.
Oh no. Like the way I'm kind of thinking is the timekeepers maybe truly did start this process.
So we're going to get the whole boner joke thing again on a massive level.
No. Because like
I get what you're saying.
Okay. The timekeepers, it's basically like the clockwork theory or the clock, whatever. Like, they wound it up and they let it go.
Yeah.
And they put the TVA in place. They created this AI, Miss Minutes, to help run the TVA and make sure it keeps running. And they put all this propaganda around, and they literally have android versions of themselves, like to put fear into people. Like it makes sense that like maybe the timekeepers are just long gone, and Miss Minutes is truly running something that she doesn't know is nothing.
Yeah,
like if that makes sense.
Got you.
And
gotcha.
Like go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say no. If you're finishing out your theory, go ahead because I was gonna jump on something new. So
because the other thing is that like Kang the Conqueror could just be conquering timelines right now, and we're seeing him conquering timelines, and each variant is just like a souvenir he takes, like from each timeline that he destroys. And maybe Sylvie was one of the first person that he took as a souvenir that escaped, because variants don't usually do this. She's a top level variant, So like maybe like we don't see Kang the Conqueror in this show because he's long gone, but we get the idea, or we get the mention of him saying like, yeah, he's like just been conquering timelines. You were taken, in orders by him, basically, if he is one of the timekeepers, which probably is.
Well, it is really interesting. The parallels that I feel like we could be experiencing in real life with WandaVision and Loki. We speculated for a good 6 weeks that Mephisto had to be a part of WandaVision.
That's true.
And here's the thing. Kang the Conqueror has more cause to be in this story. There's just given his general idea and his powers and the things he does in comic books. He manipulates the shit out of time. That is something he does. I don't know that we so much as get a mention of Kang in this show. Yeah. If we do, then it is the person who Ravonna is working for. It is whoever Ravonna is answering directly to. Know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Kind of leads into one of my theories, in that it was like the timekeepers were a thing, kind of like Joseph, you said, like they were a thing, started it, did all that stuff. But my thought is, what if they were a thing? Kang decided, fuck this noise. I don't like working with you two assholes. Killed them, took sole control, and then just kind of was like, I'll just, leave some androids in place. Well, controlling them to keep up the facade of the 3 timekeepers watching over the timeline. So that way people aren't like, hold up, there's only one dude in charge of us and it's his like sole discretion. That seems a little fishy, because at least with 3 you can be the whole, it's a council, so it's not quite as bad. And so maybe potentially Kang is in charge of it all, and he's just kind of like he's trying to keep up the facade of there being the 3 timekeepers still.
And I'm cool with that too. And ultimately, I'm hoping we
get an answer as to what's going on.
At this point, that's the only answer I even truly want is who's doing this? Who is the TVA?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, whenever Thanos had all the stones, whenever the snap happened, why did no Celestial, none of these powerful beings showed up at all? You would think one of them would at least show up to this event. Or maybe the show literally just makes it as like, it's just part of it's just how it is. Like, it was just supposed to happen.
Like, that was just an event. Like, I'm thinking that if, like, we're talking Celestials and gods, and if there's, like, communities of Celestials and gods, that maybe they'll be like, oh, fuck, that was bad. But it's like half of all life down there got fucked up. I don't give a shit.
But did it affect them? Did the snap wipe out 50% of the Celestials too? Did it? Like,
who knows?
That?
Celestial level power. Well, no, actually, I was gonna say maybe the stones don't affect Celestials, but isn't that one of the beings who originally, like, they show using the Power Stone in Guardians of the Galaxy? Wasn't that a Celestial? So clearly, like, they used the stones in the past, so it probably did kill some of them. But also, I don't think, like, comic book wise, the Celestials aren't just all, like, chilling out together. They're, like, spread out all over the universe, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not, like, there's not a community of Celestials, so there could be a chance that it did kill.
I didn't mean literal community. I just meant like an abundance. Like, there's a bunch of them.
There could be a chance it did kill, like, there's, like, a limited number of Celestials. It did kill half of them, but they just don't know. Because they probably, like, I can't imagine in their day-to-day Celestials are just meeting up and chilling together, being that they're, beings of immense power and, all that shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. But
real quick, before we move on, I did want to throw something out there. That, not like a real theory, but I did see something about this and thought it was really funny. What if the person controlling all this is a former Loki variant, and the whole reason he's manipulating the timeline is to ensure that all of the Lokis die.
So he's the only Loki.
So that way he's the only Loki and no other Lokis can rise up and challenge him.
It's going to be like, I don't know if you guys have watched the most recent episode of Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
It's like all the Rick and Mortys, all the Ricks will meet and they will fight to the death. And the one true Rick just won't even be there.
Like, I don't know. Yeah. Exactly. I don't know how I would feel if it was like Loki that was controlling all this, and to be sure that Lokis were, like, that all Lokis died. It'd be a really fucking funny result, though.
It would.
Okay. Those Gator Boy and Clan, I don't know what group, whatever you want to call it, this bad batch of Lokis, basically. They know something. Like, they know something. They're like, you gotta come with us. Like,
well, they sound like they figured out a way to make it back. Like,
they know something. They know something,
or at least how to stay alive in this maybe like between sort of place. Because, like, it's like you will die unless you come with us. Like, it's like you're on your way there.
The Owen Wilson, the discount Owen Wilson. Wow. Did you hear in this episode? He said, "How?" Yeah. It was so beautiful. It was like, I know it's not wow, but it was so close.
I did not hear this.
I'm gonna go, same thing.
Yeah. It was in the very next scene. Ramona leaves the meeting with the timekeepers, and she tells him, Hunter C-20 is dead. When he's inquiring, and he goes, "How?"
Oh, I'm gonna go back and rewatch that scene just to hear him
on it too, for no reason. The audio crisps up for no reason at that point, and they knew. The sound designers knew, like, oh, they're gonna love this. Like, you could tell.
How?
It it boosted the audio. I swear. I think. I don't know.
Ramona explains to Mobius, he did, she did, brain scramble from Enchantress, and he's like, well, that doesn't make any fucking sense. I saw her and she was fine, and she's like, trust me. And Mobius is like, I smell bullshit. But after that, we cut back to Lamentus, where Sylvie and Loki use, they're about to die. And I love that. I'd say for more than half the episode last week, we speculated about Infinity Stones, the temp pad being actually
fine.
safe, and Nah, it simply was that they were going to die. Nobody had any sort of confidence. We just read into that wrong. And, you know, they, in this last moment, big Raylo vibes. I don't know if you guys feel it. This feels exactly like Rey and Kylo Ren to me.
Okay.
There's a lot of scenes that parallel it a little bit. Obviously, Kylo Ren was a little shittier to Rey than Loki is to Sylvie or Sylvie is to Loki. But the way they sit there and so many The Last Jedi parallels. So many.
I see it. Yeah.
The throne room scene and the timekeeper scene later on, they fight back to back, take out the Minutemen, like they take off the head guys.
Throw
thing
the
and
sword,
like,
you know, like.
Yeah, it's
kind of the same choreography, which was kind of.
Even the slice on the arm.
Yeah.
Even the slice on the arm.
Like the same shit.
And
they
I have
literally
to think
just
that was
ripped
intentional.
it.
Like Kate Herron had to have taken inspiration from The Last Jedi for that. I have to
What
think.
if they were
But
like, let's just save all this work. Let's literally just do this.
Exactly. But like even this scene, when they sit next to each other and hold hands, looking at each other across from each other, guess what that happened in too? The Last Jedi with Kylo Ren and Rey.
That's kind of whack, bro.
But you know, in this moment,
this makes me like this episode less.
I knew it would. But
I'm fucking with you.
No, but
dang it! Now this isn't my favorite episode.
God, I fucking hate it.
No, but you know, in this moment back at the TVA, also fascinating. The sacred timeline is fine. They fixed it. That bomb she dropped was nothing.
Yeah.
They cleaned that shit up. We thought this shit was about to descend into chaos after the second episode, and they were like, "No, we're just biding our time."
Which I don't know if that's weird that they managed to fix it that quickly, or it's scary that they managed to fix it.
Why did they do it off screen?
I think it's got to be something like this. It's either nothing was fixed, the sacred timeline is a lie, multiverses exist, and it actually doesn't fucking matter. Or they just cleaned it up. It was that easy. Like, and like a bunch of people may have gotten pruned. Like, it's just like, fuck it. You know, we can do what we want. We went wherever we wanted. We set reset charges and we went back, and that was that. But, and I think I'm more inclined to say it was that. Like, I guarantee you it was that. And you're just supposed to be like, that's cool. However, the thing that comes closest to descending the universe into a red line is Sylvie and Loki holding hands and looking into each other's eyes.
Is Sylvie and Loki about to fuck? That's what threw the line up.
Is Sylvie and Loki a dyad in the Force?
Was that branch just a boner in the sacred timeline? Are you going to cut that out?
No.
That's
great.
Interesting.
That's fantastic.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Joseph,
No,
Joseph's
if
testing
it
the
did,
water.
I'm proud of that one.
Yeah,
I'll
Joseph's
take it.
testing the waters, figuring out what he can get away with on the podcast.
Boner is fair game.
That's true.
They did it in a WandaVision episode.
Yeah,
You're cool
they did it
now.
on Disney. How would it not be fair game on this?
But I am interested in the fact that Sylvie and Loki have such an incredible connection after 12 hours. Ish, let's say. That it would nearly. And here's the thing, another thing. How? This was at an apocalypse. Isn't the whole thing with apocalypses?
Exactly.
That shit can't happen?
Dude, that is why, that it shows how massive this variance is. Like, it is massive. If this is an apocalypse where no one makes it out, this is like a class whatever. This is up there. Or down. Whatever. This is like a big one. This is a big one. Like, and they are shooting it up so much further.
But it doesn't, like, here's my thing, is that, like, sure, it had, like, massive variance energy. But, like, what was it going to affect?
No,
like,
so I think the whole thing...
The whole point of them of Loki being like, You can do anything. They went to Pompeii. They could do anything, and nothing happened. But it's showing that during an apocalypse, they did something, and something happened. Like it just shows the grand scale of it. Like
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. But it's still a little like, I don't think it was evident enough in what they've already shown us. Like, sure, they had a romantic flair. Like, we were like, they could. By no means did I expect the beginning of this episode for their connection to almost set off a red line. Like,
I took it to kind of mean like,
could just be how impossible that it is. Like,
I took it to be
anyone
like,
just never thought this would ever happen.
The whole like they don't detect the variance energy at apocalypse is because normally like even like like normal things that you could do are only going to produce, you know, so much variance from the timeline. And so like in the time of the apocalypse, you're not going to be able to create enough that it'll pick it up even with the apocalypse going on. But they create so much because it's so impossible that they can still pick up the variance even though the apocalypse is happening.
Okay, but 30 seconds later, they would have been dead. So like,
but
that's what I'm saying. Really would have it affected?
It doesn't affect anything, but they create so much variance energy all at one time that it creates enough that the sensors can pick it up or whatever.
So kind of
like a surge. Yeah.
I'm kind of leaning now. Like that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is that like?
I mean, I'm not.
And like the greatest write-off they have is that like, oh, it's two of the same person connecting. It's like, in an apocalypse where they're about to fucking die. Like, it's like...
Well, I think the whole thing is not only is it two of the same person connecting, it's two Lokis. Like, two Lokis finding, like, a true connection. That the whole thing is, like, Lokis are never supposed to find a true connection. So they're now, like, two of them are finding a connection at the same time. It produces so much variance energy that, you know...
This was the moment they both realized they were main characters.
Yeah. First time ever.
Miss Minutes is up to something. Or she doesn't know that she's up to something.
It's got to be the case.
Oh, this was something that I told my coworker about. I told him, I was like, without spoiling anything, this fully, like, if they had ended the season at the end of this episode and then announced a movie or whatever, that would have been believable. Like, this feels like the end of like a season almost, and there's still 2 more fucking episodes, and I love it.
It's part of what scares me.
Like, it doesn't scare me at all. I love it.
No, don't get me wrong. And I know I'll like it. Because even this episode, I'm not going to lie to you, I loved watching it. And it is so fun to watch. But I have more criticisms of this episode, and you'll hear more about that with Aurora later, than I have with any Disney Plus episode of anything yet. Like, but it's like the high notes are so high that like I don't care that much. You know, it's like it came to a neutral place for me.
It was like there were more parts that you have criticism on, but the parts that you didn't have criticism on were so good that it made up for the parts that you had criticism on.
How about this? Just love the episode until they confirm the suspicions we have. Because they could twist it in some way still, you know.
Yes,
it could still be twisted in some way. That could be a diversion article. Marvel's known to divert. In the fucking Infinity War trailer, we only saw Thanos had 2 stones, bro. Like, come on. We had all of them. Like, what?
You can want them to be diverting. I want them to be like being completely truthful. If that's what it was, I would love it so much more. I'm totally down for the doppelganger.
I saw a TikTok today where it was like, it was showing the like aftermath or the music that played at the end of Infinity War and just a guy walking out of the theater like, you know, like, oh my God. Like, do you remember that feeling? Like, oh wait, that's it? They don't win? Like, it was that simple. It was just like, wait, what?
Yeah, when they go, whenever, I can't remember who asked, but someone goes, what just happened? And Steve Rogers goes, we lost.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
it was the most silent movie. It was the most silent movie theater I've ever experienced.
And no, here's the thing. Even going into it, I knew they were going to lose because Infinity War was always going to be a 2-part movie. So Like, even going into it like that, it still melted my fucking brain. I was like, but wait, they actually lost. Like,
yeah,
really
it wasn't
lost.
just they lost. It was they hard fucking lost.
So now
Half
we're
of
saying
all
that.
living
So
left.
we're saying
Like,
that
they
all
got
of that,
curb
all of,
stomped.
we're saying all of that event that made us feel that way, just drained us of all of our life, is just an event that was just supposed to happen, and probably not even high on the scale either. You know, maybe a little high. Actually, it is half of the universe.
You know what? I wonder how big of a level of apocalypse do you think that is?
It has to be.
It has to be. Universe wide?
All life
That's
in the
true,
universe,
bro.
that's a class 1 apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's probably a class 2 apocalypse. Class 1, because it half of all life.
Everything.
Class 1 would be
Everything.
everything.
pure annihilation.
Yeah, class 1 is
That's fair.
entire
That's fair.
universe gone.
The class 1 apocalypse is the last event on the timeline.
Yeah,
Pretty much. I mean, honestly.
you only have one class 1. There's nothing after that, man.
Sylvie and Loki are, however, saved here by Mobius and the TVA. A theory that we had last week as well, but we did not spend any time on because we were like, and also it could be this, but let's talk about the more fun
I honestly think we didn't spend any time on it because we were just like there's no way that they can produce, like they can't produce variants. So how the fuck are they gonna alert the TVA where they're at?
That's I'm right.
That's why
I was
we
right
just
there with
skipped
you.
it over and assumed it was not possible because we thought they're not going to do
How
that.
would they find
can't.
them?
Yeah.
Oh, but they did.
Oh, but they did. And, they're back in TVA custody. They get sent to separate cells. And the look they give each other on the way, like, I'll find you. You know, like that was the energy here. It was like, we'll see each other again.
I'll never forget you.
You know, Mobius puts Loki straight into a time cell. Not before Loki goes, hey, they're lying to you, though. They're lying to you. And then Mobius is like, haha, real funny. He's like, yeah, you're a big fucking liar, Mobius.
Yeah, the big
like,
fucking...
Why? Because I've said your girlfriend's dead? Nah.
You lied to yourself, man.
You lied to yourself. And then, Mobius is like, wow. Maybe I do. There's a lot that I do.
I do. I love those, but I really love the lines from Mobius where it's like, wow, the world's biggest trickster trying to fucking trick me. Big surprise, man. Like earlier, like in like episode.
I love the exchange between Loki and Mobius where he goes, oh, a folksy dopey thing from the folksy dope. And then I can't remember what Mobius retaliated with, but he rephrased his joke back at him the same way. Yeah. And it was like, I was like, they have such a good rapport.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why
they're so clearly friends in an argument. You know what I'm saying?
Going all the way forward to the end.
Them. I ship Loki and Mobius.
I need Lobius to happen.
Lobius. Yes.
Yes. Skipping all the way to the end, the fact that there's a Loki world. I swear to God, if they kill off Mobius, I'm going to be so mad. I want Mobius.
Nah, here's the thing. Mobius ain't dead now. Like, that's what that confirms.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Like, Loki still being alive means there's a fucking Mobius world. And if they take Mobius away from me,
not. Unless Mobius can you imagine a Westworld situation? Have you guys not watched Westworld? That might be bad. Never mind. I'm gonna move on because that one's one you don't want spoiled.
No, I have to watch Westworld.
That's the end of the thought. We're gonna move on.
Moving on. Sounds good.
He throws Loki into a time loop with Lady Sif, who we've heard this story before actually in one of the Thor movies that he cut Sif's hair off.
Yeah,
and she never forgave him for it. Like and I take it that it was. I think it was the straw that broke the camel's back. You know, it was like, okay, Loki, that's fucking it. You were done. Like, and you get that impression here because it is a huge thing to tell someone you are alone and you will be alone forever.
Yeah, that is like cutting the knife deep.
He gets nailed in the balls and smacked in the face over and over and over, and boy, oh boy, is there probably not a worse prison than that. And on top of being told you are alone and will forever be alone, just keep getting kneeled in the fucking balls and slapped in the face.
And I thought like the second or third time it happened, I was like, all right, so this is going to get old seeing this happen again. But they just kept doing it again and again, and it only stayed just as funny as it was the first time. It never, to me, it never got old seeing Loki continue to get slapped in the face and kneed in the balls in slightly different variations.
The one where like her hands were on his shoulders, just looking at him for a second, and then a boom, boom, like you didn't expect it. It was kind of maybe she did come around. Nope.
Yeah. No. We're in a time prison. It's all a fucking memory. You've done this is old. I'm sorry. And she's like, wow. Boom, boom. Fucking pathetic.
While Mobius leaves Loki in this time prison, he heads to after he hears, he's lying to you and that they're your variants, you're all variants. He's like, okay. And he sees B-15 and he's like, he told me the TVA is lying to me. And B-15's like, fuck.
Excuse me? He said what?
B-15 hears this and is like, I was just enchanted. Like, I know that means something now. So she walks straight into Sylvie's room and is like, all right, let's go. Opens up a time door. They walk right through back to Rock's cart and she asks her, what the fuck did you do to me? And she's like, well, I showed you your life before the TVA. And she's like, I ain't have a life before the TVA. What the fuck are you talking about? And she asked her to show her. And, This was the first scene of the episode that actually made me cry. It was B-15 living her life, essentially through memories, being like, and then when she came out of it and she said, I looked happy. Can you imagine the guilt she probably felt because of the amount of people she has pruned? The amount of people she has taken out of their timeline, knowing she herself was taken out of the timeline as a happy person who probably didn't do anything wrong. Fuck. It brought a tear to my eye. I'll tell you that much. I was a little distraught over this, but
that was a deep cut or a deep punch to the gut.
It really was.
That line, it was just ooh. And in the rain too. Of course, it was raining. The hurricane. Of course, it was come on, man.
The middle of a hurricane.
Oh my god.
But after this, we see Mobius going to get a drink with Ravonna after having freshly closed the case. Loki is done. He is apprehended. And so is Sylvie. We are done here. This is the biggest case you've ever had. And, they sit down, they meet, and he's asking questions, he's pushing buttons, and then he asks, what are you going to do with this one? What's this souvenir going to do? And when she turns her back, he swipes her temp pad, puts the other temp bag back down. He kept asking about C20 and, what happens now?
Does this not seem like the introduction of free will into someone who didn't have it before?
Yeah.
It's just so, sad to, see someone go through that and, just be suspicious that their whole life, their whole existence has just been nothing.
And here's the thing that's interesting. Is that they've been heavily swayed by propaganda.
They've been
clearly. I think what's clear is that they've made it so that I don't even know if they've gone as far as to legit brainwashing to a degree, but not Hydra brainwash. You know what I'm saying? It's
they
brainwashed them with propaganda. It was
they haven't
directly your brain. Now all you know is the TVA.
Yeah.
Have fun. And it was devastating. And that part where Ravonna asks him, if you could go anywhere, anytime, where would you go? And he's like, well, I can go anywhere, anytime. And she's like, you know what I mean. And that obviously sets up the gut punch later.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, oh fucking boy, did that one fucked me up too. But
that's where I cried, by the way.
Also where I cried. That was the second time.
Oh my!
Also, where I would have cried if I wasn't sitting at my desk.
Exactly. But
I'd be a man. I'd be man enough to cry at work and be like,
if they had known that I was watching Loki at work, yes. But I wasn't just going to start.
However, someone approaches your desk and you're crying, and then you go, I'm watching Loki.
These numbers are just too good, man. I'm crunching the numbers and it's just getting me emotional.
You're crunching too damn well. But, he uses her little not a smartphone thing to watch a video of Hunter C20 going, it's real. My life. I lived there. I'm a variant. So are all of you. And Mobius sees this and is like, oh, okay. I believe that. And then after, he zooms in on Ravona's face and it's like, so even she knows and she's not telling me things. And coming right off the scene where she gaslit the fuck out of him. Just, what's worth fighting for? Friendship. Right along with the TVA. And whose friendship is special? Me and you. Can you imagine the betrayal he felt in this moment?
I feel so fucking bad for this man because he does not want a friendship with her. And she, I can, the way that she's like, we have something special. And he's like, oh, we do? She's like, our friendship is special. And he's like, oh, fucking friendship? Fuck that, dude. I don't give a fuck about a friendship.
Friend? Mm. That's the word you use? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure. Just want to clarify. Asking for.
But I also really like in this video how it pauses right at a time where she's like looking back at the camera oh shit, cover it up, cut the footage.
This is officially a government cover-up.
Come on, he wouldn't look for any more things. There's so much probably in that thing, probably just plot reasons,
that was all he needed to know that, Loki was telling the fucking truth.
It's true.
And you know what he does? He goes straight to Loki and he goes, do you think you're right? Are you sure? Because I'm about to stake a whole fucking lot on this claim you've got going. He's not even 100% sure. He's just like, I have a very heavy suspicion at this point. I have smelt bullshit for a little bit, and even you could tell. So let's fucking go. And the part where he's like, they go back and forth. You can trust me. You can trust a friend. And Loki's so excited. Loki's so excited. He's childlike. He's like, fuck yeah,
let's fucking do this, man.
No, it's not even just we're gonna go take down the timekeepers. It's that fuck yeah, Mobius is my dude again.
Yeah, that's right. Let's fucking me and you, man, together forever, dude.
And Mobius is like, I think you and Sylvie are the key to the whole thing. We're gonna go up there. We're gonna take them down. And Loki's like, yeah, man, let's go. And unfortunately,
they don't fucking go.
They exit this time door, and we see Ravonna there with some Minutemen. Mobius tries to play it off. He's like, I got all the way down here before you,
before I realized
this isn't my temp pad. Wow. This isn't mine. Wow. And Ravonna's like, okay, buddy, it's time. And he goes, you know what? If I could go anywhere, anytime, it'd be the place where I'm from. The time I'm from. Maybe I had a jet ski. Yeah, that would have been the shit. Prune him.
If we don't see where he's actually from, and he's not a fucking jet ski salesman, or a fucking he rents out jet skis on the beach or some shit, I'm gonna be so disappointed. If he's not living his fucking dream, just around jet skis all the time, he has to.
Here's the thing: I am okay if he is never in the MCU again. If we watch him get dropped off at a beach by a jet ski and never see him again, I don't need him to die anywhere in these movies. Yeah. Just give him a jet ski and let him live.
Give Owen Wilson a happy ending, man.
Or if he's with Lightning McQueen, that will also be acceptable. If he's with Lightning McQueen. Totally okay.
We're in hillbilly hell.
Imagine you see Lightning McQueen pulling down the street and the door opens and Owen Wilson steps out. Then the car universe just gets insane. There's humans in there now.
No, okay.
And it's like, oh my god, they're taking these personalities of a car, and it's like, why are they?
Snap took out half of all cars.
I was gonna say, not even going all the way there. Imagine complete bullshit, complete throwing out bullshit here. No, they drop him off on a beach. They drop him off on a beach to get, with his jet ski, and right next to it is a hot red, fucking whatever type of car Lightning
Whatever
McQueen
kind of
would
car.
be.
Dude, that'd be epic. It doesn't even have to be overtly Lightning McQueen. Just like a red car that looks enough like it.
Or
You know
just
what I'm
a
saying?
red car with a fucking lightning bolt on it. I'd be like, oh, yes.
That's a nut. But, immediately after this, and you know what made this scene even worse is Loki's reaction. That part may have fucked me up more than anything.
My jaw dropped whenever she said prune him, and then when they actually touched him, it dropped even further. Then I started to cry, and then when I saw Loki cry, I was like, "Oh!"
And you saw Miles's classic, suck the emotions up and move the fuck on thing.
And I was like,
he was ready to burst. Like his eyes were welled, and then he blinked, and he was like, "All right," and it was like, "Fuck." This man can't catch a fucking break. This is terrible. My heart broke in that moment. But, they take Loki to an elevator, and Ravonna walks up with Sylvie. And, she says, I can take them from here. And I loved the moment where they were standing outside the elevator, and Sylvie looks to Loki, and she just asks, because she is genuinely curious. She cares, and she wants to, are you okay? Are you all right? And he gives that little nod like, fuck no, I'm not. But I'm gonna act like I am. And they're brought before the timekeepers. And yeah. I was underwhelmed, aggressively underwhelmed. And you're supposed to be underwhelmed. Like, I think that is part of the point, obviously.
If you were brought to the time,
wildly enough, the lizard people description was spot fucking on.
I mean, they look exactly like the people controlling our government, so
exactly the same.
Damn.
I could have swore that was Mitch McConnell on the left.
Mark Zuckerberg's up there too. He's one of them.
Well, Mark Zuckerberg's the middle.
He is a lizard.
It's Mitch McConnell.
Well,
Mitch
Mark
McConnell,
Zuckerberg actually is a lizard.
Nancy Pelosi, and Mark Zuckerberg. The perfect trifecta.
We got Jeff Bezos on one of them too.
Jeffrey Bezos.
Timekeeper's like, yeah, you fucked up. Time to get deleted. And this is quite the scene and this was epic. Like I was like, fuck yeah. The way B-15 got her hero moment here, I was like, that's the shit right there. I'm glad they did something with her too, because I hope that she kind of sticks around. We didn't really see what happened to her.
Yeah, because she takes on like one of the dudes, right? Like
a few of them, I think. She takes on three of them.
Yeah, okay, yeah. She takes on a couple of them, and then it just kind of cuts to the Loki fight, and it doesn't show what happened.
Are those other guards that were up there already? Is that all they do?
Yeah, I guess they just stand there in front of the timekeepers.
So, like, they guard useless androids.
They don't. Androids, aliens, and wizards.
Okay. Nobody knew that they were androids. Like,
doubtful.
I think. Okay.
Well,
if anyone were to know,
I think Ravonna did.
I was gonna say, I think Ravonna did, because she was not surprised whenever they cut her fucking head off and a fucking android head fell down.
It's still weird why she's going through this ritual when it doesn't matter. Like, she's not actually bringing in timekeepers, or maybe she is.
For my money, has to be that they are going the comics route. Ravonna is in love with and working for Kang the Conqueror, and maybe Kang the Conqueror is not reciprocating the relationship, or maybe he is even. I don't know, but she's clearly covering for someone's ass. Like
I would agree with that. I think she's trying to cover
for someone not to get found out.
That's true.
I think she's trying, like, keeping up the facade so that way everyone, outside is still seeing her go up and talk to the timekeepers, but then also so that way those guards there see her go and talk to the timekeepers.
It does make sense, because she's the only one out of everyone there that has anything remotely nice. Like, she has all those trophies, all those souvenirs, and like we saw the judge before her, which is interesting. Because like like, I don't know, like, what does that mean?
What's the criteria? Yeah,
Well,
like I don't know.
What did that guy move
I'm
on
assuming.
To? What did that guy move
I'm
on
assuming,
to? Or is he dead?
We've gotten Loki. We've gotten Sylvie backstory. I need Ravonna next. Like, I need to know what the fuck is her deal, honestly. I'm like, let's see. Tell me. You don't have to tell Loki yet. Tell me. Tell the viewer.
It can even be something as small as like Sylvie's was in this episode. Like Sylvie's was, like a fucking 30-second backstory, and it filled in all the holes we needed. And it can be something as small as that, where it's like, a couple quick flashbacks throughout the episode, good to go.
Another thing that's awesome about this scene is that when B-15 shows up, she unlocks their collars, Loki and Sylvie's, and then tosses Sylvie's sword to her, which means that when B-15 got back, she went straight to Ravonna's office and was ready to kill that woman. I think, she went straight to her office, found that sword, and was like, "Fuck it, I'm going up."
She had to have gone to her office. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
She was out for fucking blood.
She was done. She was going there to kill Ravonna, I think. Like, fuck this.
Well, because she also probably has to know she probably has to have inferred that B-20 or whatever. Yeah. B-20?
B-15, C-20.
C-20 is just dead. She has to have inferred that by this point. I think is why, once she realized, oh, this is, we're all variants, she realized C-20 fucking knew. And that's why she was fucking mumbling, it's all real, it's all real. And then she was like, she's no longer alive. And that's probably why she was out for fucking blood.
Mm.
Exactly. But I hope we seal up B-15's storyline. I can't imagine that's the last time we see her, obviously. She's been too big a part of the story for her to kind of just fizzle into the background. I would have liked to known what happened to her here, though, just because people were getting pruned all over the place. It'd be nice to know, and stabbed through the chest. This was, you watched Sylvie straight up stab a man through the chest and that sword come out of that guy's back. And I was like, oh damn.
Yeah,
that was
that's crazy. If you think about it, all the people that that got pruned in this fight went off to some other fucking world. That dude just dead.
Just dead. That guy just died. That guy was like
Sylvie thinks.
What's funny is every time they've pruned somebody, it's like they're sparing them.
Well, because they we didn't know it at the time. We thought they were just dying. We know now they kind of were.
Yeah, but
okay, wait. Can we talk about it? What is this? Why? How? What? How was Loki pruned, and then how was he placed right in front of these Lokis, or did the other Lokis
I'm thinking maybe you're sent to I'm thinking maybe you're sent to an already broken timeline. Maybe they have a collection of timelines
or something.
Yeah.
The world behind them is fucked.
Well, the Avengers Tower was back there.
Avengers Tower's in the background.
Yeah, so that's New York.
I think
but it was fucked.
I don't know that this is New York. I think this is a land of where everything Loki, any Loki that's been pruned, anything else that got pruned with them,
all the reset charges caused by a Loki. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I got a feeling one of these Lokis won against the Avengers, and that's why the Avengers Tower went ahead with them.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this is like a broken timeline that they've just been like, this is the Loki garbage timeline where we send all the Loki trash.
But is that the same for every single person then? So every single person has their own universe or their own timeline or their own planet or their own...
I'm guessing it's like their own little pocket dimension.
Yeah. I'm saying timeline.
Or it's the
I knew you were gonna. I
don't think it's the Soul Stone.
It's orange. It's orange. The freaking Nexus event was orange. We don't know anything about the Soul Stone really, and I honestly couldn't care less if they were just to get rid of the stones and not say another thing about them. But there are still so many things unanswered about them. We don't know a single power of the Soul Stone at all. We didn't see Thanos use it.
Yeah, we do.
One time.
We know two powers of the Soul Stone.
When did Thanos use the Soul Stone?
We know two powers of the Soul Stone. To kill Gamora and to kill Natasha. Those are the only two powers it needs, Joseph.
We saw every stone light up on the gauntlet but the Soul Stone. Obviously it does something. it does something. It's not just
Gamora
there.
and-
It's not just there to complete the snap. Like, that's not its only reason. It's not just a useless rock until it's with every other stone.
I mean, no, actually,
Maybe-
you could make the argument that is its only reason, because the whole thing that they talk about whenever he's obtaining it is you have to know that you can make the ultimate sacrifice and give up what you love most in this world in order to obtain the full power of the stone. That could be in order to complete
you're saying
the
it has
spell, you
zero
have to
power
get the
on its
last.
own. You're saying it has zero power on its own.
I'm not
You
saying
have to go
guaranteed
out and
that's
get
what it is.
every other stone, which has never been done before. No one's ever even gotten more than 2. No one's ever gotten more than 2.
Yeah.
And Loki just so happened to have 2. It wasn't like he was seeking it. It's like he just so happened to have 2. Thanos was the first ever to ever be like, I'm going to get all of them.
But that very well could be the safeguard
The
to try
Soul
and keep
Stone
you from.
does something. There's no way it's just an orange rock until you get every other one. Imagine a Power
would be
Ranger that has
interesting.
0 powers and he was just there so he can link up with the big robot thing, you know? What?
Hey, I need to know. I need someone to go back, look in that drawer, and tell me if you see a soul stone.
Oh, I'll do it right now.
Because if we don't, I might be behind Joe's theory a little more. If there's ever Nexus events involving soul stones, maybe they just pocket those shits and use them. However, if there are soul stones in there, I don't know.
I would assume there is. I'm going to take a guess that there is. But, okay. What? Like, we never saw it used ever. Was it episode 2 that happened?
I think it was episode.
I think it was episode 1.
It
It
was
might have been
one?
episode 1. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was episode 1 because that's whenever he's coming. Yeah, because that's whenever he's keep trying to
he's trying to escape the TVA. Yeah.
Yeah. Before and then it's like right after that scene he realizes like fuck this is it, like this is the
I'm
top
right
shit.
here.
The TVA is formidable.
Okay, he got a Tesseract. Look in the drawer. Look in the drawer. Show the drawer. Show the drawer. Okay.
You don't see a soul stone, do you? You don't see a soul stone, do you?
I think that's just a reality stone. Dude, there are no soul stones there.
Well, there's also the factor that maybe that's one people just didn't try to fuck with.
Well,
That's one.
It could also
That's the
just,
hardest one to obtain.
yeah, that could be, it doesn't really
Dude.
disprove either because it
Dude.
very well could be
There
that
are
no one
multiples
besides
of the others,
Thanos
though.
has ever been able to obtain any of like one of them at any time.
Dude,
Whereas the other stones, people have obtained them throughout history.
that was right in front of our face, bro. That was right in front of our face. Why didn't we just look for every color? Okay, I can't tell though. There are 2 that could be soul stones, but they look like reality stones to me. They look like the other reality stones. There's one massive. That's the Mind Stone.
That's the Mind Stone.
That's the Mind Stone. There's another Mind Stone below the little bowl to the bottom right. There's another Mind Stone.
Is that the Mind Stone that looks orange?
No, but that's big.
What's the good old
It's big like
timestamp?
the Mind Stone is.
I just Googled Loki Infinity Stones and I'm looking at all of them right now.
I don't
That's a
think
much
that's a
better way
Soul
to do
Stone, dude. The Soul Stone was much brighter orange than that. It's closer to the Mind Stone than those red ones are.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
I don't know. That's kind of suspicious. That's I can't believe we haven't. I don't know. That's kind of sus.
Also fascinating that there's a crucifix in this drawer.
Yeah, marbles. A picture of someone I
Sounds
don't
like
recognize.
Is that a fucking? Is that
It
a
looked
medal
like an
of
arc
honor?
reactor. Is that an arc reactor? What is that
Yes, it is.
coil thing?
Yeah, I think it is.
Like what?
I think it is. Is that a
Tangerine?
fucking medal of honor?
An orange slice?
Yeah.
Is that Ant-Man's orange slices that he wanted? Maybe in a universe where he got them? You know, but didn't Ant-Man ask for orange slices? Like, after he was really big, he's like, oh, I just need some orange slices. Like, and it was like the meme or whatever. Like, after you're
Yeah.
big, you just want orange slices. There's an orange slice in the drawer. And like a lemon slice, too, I think. This is a weird drawer.
I want to talk about this the very last scenes here, where Loki grabs Sylvie's shoulders and is like, "I don't really know how to do this. This is all very new for me." And she's like, "What? What? I'm dead. So Ravonna literally stabs him in the back, which
Fitting.
My
Fitting
jaw
for
dropped so hard.
And did you guys, you saw the imagery, right? The parallel here between Wanda and Vision and Sylvie and Loki, the way they fade away in front of them.
Yeah. Like, the face is the last thing to go.
Yeah. And like same camera angle and everything over the right shoulder of Sylvie and Wanda, Vision and Loki fading away. It's like pretty much shot for shot. And maybe that's just because that's the best way to show something like that. Or maybe it is a direct parallel. But
maybe this is a common Nexus event. It's the Nexus event. You know, that's kind of...
Maybe.
Was Wanda's Nexus event creating the Hex? Or was it...
Well, I don't think she's had a Nexus.
Was it the deletion of the Hex? Has she had a Nexus moment?
I don't think
I think so. I don't think they've told us she had a Nexus event, but I suspect that we will learn it was
the TVA
one.
didn't come for her, though. We see her in her cabin.
Well, there's also the possibility the reason they went straight for Loki is because he wasn't a high level variant.
Did you see they changed the post-credit scene in WandaVision? They re-edited it and reshot it?
Don't feed this bullshit. It's nothing.
Wait, but they did.
It's an editing.
No,
they did.
They edited it, but it was to fix a shadow.
Yeah.
But like trees were removed. There was other things that were touched than just the edit.
There was like a duck removed from the water.
Yeah, a duck. Yeah. Okay, but like why? Why remove the duck? If you're just going to fix the editing mistake, why not just fix the editing mistake? Why remove some trees? Why remove the duck? Why?
I don't think it has a purpose, man.
Yeah, they're not going to include anything massive in a re-edit, 3 months after the end of the show.
Do you realize who's the president of Marvel? Do you realize who's running the show?
You're giving him too much credit, Joe.
Yeah, he's not going to
pull much credit.
He's not going to pull some shit like that.
An Easter egg in a post-credit scene 3 months
after
They lie to us
drop. All the time, and every time at Comic-Con, he laughs. Like, he loves it. He loves it.
There's lying, and then there's just straight telling us to go fuck ourselves.
Yeah, putting cockroaches in shows. And in Loki, we see a fucking cockroach. Oh, cool.
That's a red herring. Adding in a post-credit scene 3 months after the fact in a re-edit is telling us to go fuck ourselves. And he's not in the business of telling audiences to go fuck themselves.
Dude playing Thanos, man. That's pretty fucking epic. Just saying.
It is pretty fucking epic. Capable. It is pretty fucking epic. However, I think if there is anything that is important in that post-credit scene after the re-edit, that Marvel are fucking morons. That immediately dismisses the genius of Kevin Feige because it has been 3 months since that premiered. It's an editing mistake. It's an editing thing that you didn't announce. You want people to watch your shit. You want money. That's the whole thing.
Okay, sorry. What do you want me to say? I'm just saying.
I don't know. I'm just playing.
He's a cryptic guy.
I'm just playing.
He's a cryptic guy.
He is a cryptic guy. But nothing very cryptic about this ending here.
Not at all.
Yeah, nothing at all. Pretty cut and dry, honestly.
Yeah. I just want to say, like the alligator or crocodile, whichever one it is. I'm not a fucking, scientist.
Were they trying to make like a baby Yoda? Were they trying to make an icon here?
No.
You think that's what they're going
I saw something about it. No, I saw something about it. They're animal versions of the Norse gods or whatever in the comics.
Yeah.
And it talked about apparently. Apparently there's like a there was like some news that apparently there might be a fucking frog version of Thor in Thor Love and Thunder, and everyone was like, there's no fucking way that happens. Like some news, because I saw something about it. Some news came out about it because there's a fucking comic book character named Throg, and it's a frog Thor.
That's the best thing I've ever heard in my life.
Agreed. And like news came out about it a while ago, I guess, saying like they might have a fucking frog Thor. And everyone was like, no way they introduce animal god. Like they're not doing that.
It's a possibility now.
And in the fact that there's a fucking crocodile Loki means they're like, if they don't include if they don't include Throg, I'm going to be so mad. I want a fucking frog Thor.
Dude, but why is it only these 4? You know? Like, there's only 4.
Well,
If we're
I'm
counting
guessing
the
that
gator.
Thor.
Are we counting the gator?
Yes, I'm
Of
guessing.
course. What do you mean, are we counting the gator?
But, like,
My
what does he
interpretation
do?
of the
Do you think he
scene-
talks? Does he talk? Do you think
no idea.
we open up and we just see a gator go, "Ow, ow, ow," you know, talking?
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, no, he can talk. Are you kidding me?
Really?
We've seen
Oh.
crazy shit than an
Are
animal talking in Marvel.
Yeah,
I
we've
guess
already
so.
seen an animal talk. We saw a fucking duck talk.
And Rocket, the raccoon.
And a main character is an animal.
Yeah, but Rocket is more like humanoid raccoon squirrel. You know, it's like
No,
he is
he's-
cybernetic.
it's-
He is
I
cybernetic.
like
He's
more
cybernetic, but he's
humanish.
literally... No, but he's literally a raccoon.
But his
Like,
eyes
he's
look
not a
more
humanoid
human.
raccoon, he's just a raccoon.
I don't know. That's
That just-
different.
that stands on his hind
I guess
legs all the
there's
time.
A tree that talk. I don't. Whatever.
Trash panda.
This just looks like a legitimate.
Meta? I don't-
Okay, but this thing looks like a legitimate gator they just picked up out of Florida, and they just were like, all right, like it's a legitimate gator. Like this isn't like a CGI character. Well, it might be CGI. I don't know, but like it seemed real. You know.
One thing I do want to address is something you said at the very beginning, like only 4 of them. I don't think that's the case. I think these are the 4 that greeted him. I think there are far more Lokis. It's probably likely, given the way they said it's probably the most common variant. And if they prune variants, I imagine that relatively early on, one of the Lokis caught on and started telling them like, "Hey, yeah, come with me if you want to live."
It's what's his name from Ragnarok? The rock dude. I just can't remember his name. Hey,
Korg.
hey, I'm Pog.
Hi.
Okay.
I'm Korg.
Let's
Giant pile of rocks here.
let's talk about each of these.
I'm thinking about
Lokis.
starting a revolution. Do you want to join?
Let's talk about the dude on the left. Got a hammer. At least it
that
looks
is
like a hammer.
I think that one is. So I pulled up the article about the animal gods that I'll touch on in a second, but I guess that one is named Boastful Loki.
Really?
Boastful Loki.
Yeah.
We're going to see.
There's classic
I bet
Loki.
this dude speaks so Asgardian, like in terms of like his presentation and stuff, and like he's going to be cocky as hell.
Oh,
He's going to
yeah.
be like Thor, but
Yeah.
Loki.
Yeah. So
Now
the names of them, according to this website, is classic and kid Lokis, along with so-called boastful Loki, and yes, a crocodile Loki.
And what's outstanding is we're getting all these comic book truthful suits, like with classic Loki and
Yeah.
Vision
Classic
and
Loki
Wanda.
looks so fucking goofy, and I love it.
Yo, so goofy. It's like this guy couldn't more evidently be in a Halloween costume.
Yeah, he
Like-
looks like the old like 1960s superhero that like
Yeah.
he was I starred in this superhero movie back in the 60s, and I'm
That
now
dude doesn't want
an
to be there.
an old man that I'm still like I put on my
Kill me.
costume. I put on my costume one more
Patreon.
time just to see what it looked like. That's
Dude,
what
no,
it
I'm
looks like
serious.
to me.
I'm serious. That dude, the look on his face, he's like, I don't fucking want to be here. I don't give a shit about it. Like,
I mean,
this
would
is what he
anyone
looks-
want to be there?
You?
Huh?
He goes, who the fuck are you? And one of them's like, that's Loki. And he's like, you're Loki. Yeah, you're Loki.
Wait,
Like,
you're no, I'm Loki. What? Where Loki?
how's Loki? The other
Who's
one's just
Loki?
like, no one's ever asked.
This frame is interesting. There's like so much background, but it doesn't reveal like anything. Like obviously there's Stark Tower or Avengers Tower. It looks pretty cool. You know, that's pretty recognizable. And there's this symbol. What is that symbol next to Boastful Loki's leg? You see that like yellow, it's like an O or a G or a 0? You see what I'm talking about?
Leg.
I'm looking.
Which leg?
Like his right leg. It's like in between a power line thing and his leg. It's like a yellowish orangish,
Oh,
I
you're
see
really
what you-
looking.
like a
I see
logo.
what you- I think that's just like a weird. I think that's just like a weird bush or something.
I'm just trying to get anything out of this frame because
Yeah,
I
I'm
get you,
trying
I
to
get
look
you.
at it. And yeah, I don't think that's anything. Real quick, the thing that talks about the like animal things. Apparently, what Recent rumors suggested the film will feature, talking about Thor: Love and Thunder, will feature appearances of multiple variants of Chris Hemsworth's Thor, including a frog version of the God of Thunder known as Throg.
Wow.
Just go ahead and look up Throg. I want to see if it actually shows up.
I don't know if you guys recognize old Loki, classic Loki from anything.
No.
Recently, within the last couple of years, he was in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker as the guy who was loyal to Palpatine who got blown out of the window at the end.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just need you guys
amazing.
to look up Throg Marvel. Colton, you need to look it up too.
I'm doing it now.
Amazing. This is honestly, I might change my wallpaper to Throg.
If we now that the option's there, if we don't get a fucking Throg, I'm gonna be disappointed. There are so many characters that Loki has led me to discover that I want things from.
The fact that this has existed.
God, I love Throg.
Yeah, the fact that this has existed and I haven't known
I'm
about
not
it.
capping with you. I just got goosebumps looking at Throg.
And he's a fucking frog.
Wow, a
It's his
YouTube
first
video.
art
Throg
that
set
popped
to
up
appear in
for Throg.
Loki. According to new merchandise Lego leak. That's how they got it.
They always be leaking shit.
Oh my god. That's probably real then. Like, that's
Yo,
probably legitimate.
Throg has an actual name. Simon
Yeah.
Walterson.
Yeah, he's a fucking dude.
Walterson?
Simon Walterson.
Oh my god, he has a fucking human form?
What?
He found a
He can turn
witch.
into-
He got cursed to turn into a fucking frog and was given the
Still
name
worthy, though.
Puddle Gulp. His name, after turning into a frog, was Puddle Gulp.
Guess what his hammer's called?
What? What is this hammer called?
Instead of Mjolnir, it's Frognir. Literally, on the fandom wiki, weapons, Frognir, a sliver of Mjolnir, which transformed into a miniature version of Mjolnir, granted Puddle Gulp the powers of Thor.
Okay,
Wow, it's
so
a
I just need to read
fragment
you guys
of
this
Mjolnir.
sentence. He met other frogs, was accepted into their clan, and was given the name Puddle Gulp. Puddle Gulp aided King Glugwort during the frogs' war with the rats. As his time,
Dude, I need to find this comic book run. I am looking into
how
Throg.
fucking high were the writers of this comic book?
Apparently, it's
This
Thor
sounds like a
364.
This sounds like a
Puddle Gulp
fucking
and
fever
Throg.
dream.
February 1986. Or
yes.
Mighty Thor Volume 2, number 700 in October 2017. 2017! We've gotten an update on freaking...
And I got another sentence to read you.
Frog.
Thor
Wow.
and Puddle Gulp arrive in time to drive off Ratso.
Fuck yeah. Dude, I love Marvel.
I don't think I've ever seriously considered going out and buying a comic, because I'm not a huge comic reader.
Until today.
I want to buy that fucking comic. Are you kidding
I
me?
need Throg. I need Throg in my life.
He's only in 2. Only in 2. Okay.
All right, guys. You have anything else to say about this Loki episode?
I don't think we can top it. We talked about fucking Throg.
That's true. I just want to have my closing statement be a little sus. The Soul Stone kind of isn't there. Might just be because it's a rare one and no one really gets it. Thanos was kind of the only one to ever get it, and really, so that we know of. But kind of sus. Maybe we're not done with the stones. Who knows? Maybe we're not. Done.
Maybe not.
We did get Wanda with the Mind Stone a little bit. Kind of.
She's been imbued with the power of the Mind Stone, apparently, which is just wild. But fuck, man, it was a good one. I'll say that. Obviously, I have my fair share of criticisms, and you'll hear more of that in the next 50 minutes.
All of them completely unfounded.
But yeah, it was a good one. Miles, any last thoughts?
Last thoughts. So I've said it before. I've made a couple threats before in my life. I've made a couple threats towards Disney.
Once or twice.
Disney, if I don't get fucking Throg, I swear to God, Disney. I swear to God. That's all I have to say.
Throg will be the death of Disney.
Throg? Listen, lack of Throg. will be the death of Disney.
But here's the thing.
I will.
This is how it plays out in my head. Throg gets cut on the cutting floor of Thor: Love and Thunder of Loki. He doesn't make it. Throg's a real being, though, so we're going to go get Throg. And we're going to take Throg, and we're going to have Throg just put lightning down, just bah, 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 all over Disney campus. And just
fair.
And just be like, this is his revenge. This is Throg's revenge.
Let's just
this is
dump
the plan.
hundreds of thousands of Throg on a
Honestly,
campus.
You know what? Optional. You know what? If at Disney, if you decide, I'll give you some leeway. If you decide not to give us a Throg in Thor: Love and Thunder, I will also accept a Throg solo movie. One of the two.
Also a trilogy.
Take your pick.
I will also accept as a pet Throg.
Yeah.
But
Well, of course. No. Whenever he's your pet, he'll go by Puddle Gulp. He's
Puddle
Throg whenever he's off saving the world in his free time.
It's like Perry the
I want
Platypus.
to be Throg's sidekick, though.
Well, you will be, but I'm saying like whenever at that point you're his sidekick. But whenever he's your pet, you know him as Puddle Gulp.
No, hold up. The funniest part
Obviously.
of this entire episode was when Miles just went, "Well, you will be."
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, it really was. Just because it was like me going on about how I'm going to be Throg's sidekick and we're going to have fun, and you were like, "Well, you will be." Like it was
Of
like,
course.
well, like naturally, of course, that's
Natural.
you
fucking kidding me?
Like you just took it in such stride that it didn't even faze you, and I loved it. But this was the Penny Bloom podcast. I was Colton Robertson, and I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, buddy.
Wow, what an episode! What a pod!
One of the more fun ones I'd say we've ever had, thanks to Throg.
Yeah, kind of disappoints me.
I missed you, Kyler. I'm sorry we didn't talk about you before.
I was gonna get to it.
I missed you.
We missed you, man, and we also missed Tillman. Unfortunately, neither of them could join us for tonight's episode. Tillman being a bouncer at a nightclub, and Kyler being a professional athlete. He's in the MLB.
Yeah, we're friends with some pretty cool people. Okay.
He's in the MLB and the NBA. So
and the NFL, all three sports all at once.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just look into him. His name is Kyler Barnett. We were also joined by Miles Buttress. Thank you very much.
Hey, man, thanks for having me, man. Be happy to join you anytime.
Maybe next week even.
Maybe, yeah.
Perhaps
maybe.
next week.
Perhaps.
But
Mayhaps.
I just got to say, go to patreon.com/CoRealBloom where you will find over 11 hours of exclusive content, including a half an hour intro on the front of this where we discuss a great many things, and it is a joy, frankly. It's always fun there.
Not gonna lie, I don't even.
We talk a lot about weed. A lot about weed.
That's right. Listen. Throg cleared my mind of all conversations I've had.
Throg is cleansing.
Yeah,
Throg is good.
I'm not going on a juice cleanse. I'm going on a Throg cleanse.
The only media I will intake is pictures of Throg. Follow us on Twitter at PennyBloomPod, on Instagram at PennyBloomPodcast. Again, this was Loki's Losers, the Penny Bloom Podcast. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And always praise Throg. Throg. Hello, everybody, and welcome in for a special edition to Loki's Losers. I am again joined by Aurora Carter. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I can't wait for this session.
Oh, I am so ready. This was such a good episode. Lots of twists, lots of turns, and this will be placed in the same spot as last week at the end of the episode. So we will have had that scene by scene discussion already in the past. So feel free, whatever you feel like you want to talk about, hit me with it. I'm ready.
I'm just happy that I was kind of right on my theory of them doing an Iron Man 3 Mandarin thing with the timekeepers.
Yeah. Well, and was like, there's so many influences there. It's like you got the Iron Man 3, which is the most relevant MCU parallel, but then you got the Wizard of Oz. Like the veil there. Like, it's like, and I don't know how familiar you are with Star Wars, but this whole scene in that room with the timekeepers was just like straight out of The Last Jedi, Star Wars Episode 8. Like, it was just spot fucking on. But yeah, you were right. You definitely got that right. And it has been a theory that we've been floating around for, like, not specifically the Iron Man 3 tie, but it was kind of clear that something with the TVA's fishy. These timekeepers sound kind of bullshit. Like, there's not enough about them that sounds feasible. And I hate to say it does. Their system draws a lot on, I feel like, real life religions, in terms of the having the faith that, you know, they're up there, they're doing their thing.
Yep.
It was, I'm glad to see them have torn that down now, because with 2 episodes left, we really are about to be like, we're about to find out. Like, we are definitely about to learn what's going on up there.
Yeah, like you said, there was so many things in this episode that was like mind blowing. Did we also get confirmation of when Morbius was saying, "Oh, we deal with Kree Titans," which the externals are like, you know, part of, I believe, the Titans. Yeah, and did he also say vampires? Is canon to like Blade?
Yeah. Well, we're about to get a reinvigoration of Blade.
Yes.
With Mahershala Ali, which I am very, very excited for. But yeah, so we've got confirmations that vampires already exist. It's not like something that's going to happen and vampires all of a sudden, and that makes sense. You know, vampires already exist. That's kind of the idea. There's this line of thought in one of the Rick and Morty episodes where, Rick's like, well, it's probably a vampire. And one of the characters goes, vampires are real? And he's like, yeah, they've existed in literature for hundreds of years. Surprise, surprise. Vampires are real.
I
was just going to say, like, that's a great confirmation. I'm very excited for the future of the vampires in the saga. We're actually about to get another movie in the Sony Marvel realm, like in the Spider-Man universe. I think that one is Morbius.
Yeah.
Yes.
That looks amazing, by the way, but
it really does. And also, it is interesting that you say you cited that line, the Titans, Kree, and vampires thing, because there was a discussion we had on the pod last week, with the other 3 guys, that we were like, so does this mean that humans deal with humans, and there's, like, in theory, a Skrull TVA dealing with Skrulls, like in a different sect of this whole infinite seeming thing? And apparently no, we just happen to have nothing but humans here. And I'm sure we'll probably get into a reason, but I'm very interested in seeing what that reasoning is. Cause like last week we were convinced, like, humans work for humans, Titans work for Titans, Kree work for Kree, and so on and so forth, you know, but it appears that that's no longer the case, and therefore the TVA is simply comprised of humanoid beings, and not just humanoid beings, because Kree and Titans are humanoid, straight up humans. So it's like, I'm interested to see what the actual reason is there. I can't wait for that revelation there, and that won't be a revelation or anything. It'll just be kind of like, yeah, that's why.
I'm really, like, even though, like, on our session, Joe's not here, but part of me wish he was, just so I could be like, there was no Infinity Stones. That's no Infinity Stones. That's no more.
I know. And here's the thing. Like, I listened back to last week's episode literally today at work, and just to see, just coming off this new episode, you know, what were we right about? What did we do? And by the end of it, they had me convinced Infinity Stones had to be involved. And it was just because I'm in a vacuum where they're telling me that. I didn't believe that coming into it. But I am very glad that that's not the route. And hopefully it remains not the route. We came up with all these theories, like Loki has a time stone. He's not worried because he'll just turn back time. He actually has a fully intact tempad. He just used an illusion. None of that. Loki's dumb. Sylvie's a little dumb. They were just almost about to die. That's it.
That was the thing.
They were definitely going to die. What does interest me, though, about that very fact that they were going to die, isn't the thing supposed to be that with apocalyptic events, it doesn't matter what happens? That no variance energy will be detected? They're all about to die? So why, when they have that moment, does the variant energy spike? It doesn't make a whole ton of sense to me. Just because, like, if they were really about to die, that wouldn't have happened. I'm so bewildered as to what that means, or if that's just kind of a hole that we're supposed to look past. Because that's like the point of why they've been to apocalypses. Is that
was the whole reasoning? Yeah. No variant energy detected. Yeah.
But now we're seeing that these two, and like, is it just that this cosmic connection they've made is so powerful that it didn't matter? Or is it that hole that I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like,
or it could just be that two bisexuals became straight. No. But
it's also fascinating to me. I was thinking about this more listening to our conversation from last week about Loki being gender fluid, and I realized people gave Marvel too much credit for that.
Definitely.
Like, this was not the introduction of an actual, like, someone who identifies as gender fluid. It is someone who exists in multiple realities as a man or a woman. Doesn't mean that our
Even
Loki
an alligator.
Yes. It doesn't mean that our Loki identifies as gender fluid, you know? So I'm still, we're yet to have that character, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And
I'm just still bummed.
I was about to bring it up because we are headed that way now. It's like, no doubt that's the route we're going. Like, they are in love, apparently.
I hate that so much. I know some people might like it, but I wish it was still like a brother. Like, I really wanted that Steve and Natasha relationship where it's like they always tease each other, but they don't actually fall. I would have loved for that kinship between them two, but
I would have.
Yeah.
I mean, and it makes a degree of sense, you know, like they have expressly made a point to be like, Sylvie is not Loki, and to dismiss that, to dismiss her in saying that is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's like, I think it's supposed to be something of a sexuality allegory. You know what I'm saying? It's like, they're kind of banking on the fact that you won't be like, she can't love who she loves. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, but they are variants of the same person. And it's like, it gets uncomfortable, but you have to let it roll off your back. Like, you have to change your perspective enough, or accept it enough, that it's like, okay, I just need to keep in mind, Sylvie is Sylvie. Sylvie is not a different version of Loki. Even though that's how she is been presented to us through the TVA and stuff, I think it's clear that we start this episode with her as a child getting taken by the TVA.
Yes.
Her very being born as a woman made her fundamentally different than the Loki we know. Like, it's like, these aren't the same people. They have not had the same experiences. And I think that's just supposed to be enough. Like, you're supposed to be like, all right. However, I'm sorry, I'm just going to keep going here. I don't think the supposed love has been earned at all. Like, last week, sure, they connected, but on a very surface level. Then all of a sudden, at the beginning of this episode, they're like looking deeply into each other's eyes. And I get, like, this is the end. They think they're about to die. There's probably a whole flash of emotions that comes with that, but it's like, it's all very complicated. It's all very complicated, because, like, I'm with Loki looking at Sylvie and going, this is someone who sees sees the world the same way I do. This is someone who I know how they're feeling here. Like, they have different experiences, but they probably have similar thought processes, you know, just being who they are, the god and goddess of mischief.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, him looking to someone and relating to someone for probably the first time because he felt alienated on Asgard. He felt like he could be the ruler of Midgard. Like, it's like he's never felt like he had an equal. I can see him looking at Sylvie and seeing that, but not falling head over heels for her after meeting her for 30 minutes. Like, it's not like he's a narcissist, but here's the thing. She's not similar enough to him for him to see himself in her. Like, it's like, it's weird. I don't know. I think that it's just not that good. And I don't want to say that, you know, like, cause I love where the show has been heading, but it appears we're headed in a route that just feels quick.
They love story don't seem genuine to me. It's not like, and so many Marvel fans are not going to like this, but I am so like Loki phobic towards that whole relationship because I understand we supposed to separate, and people, this is coming from a trans person, so do not try to cancel me, but we understand, because I try to look at Sylvie the way I would look at if I was a cis person looking at a trans person. Like, okay, you keep, you know, like, you're obviously identifying that you're not a Loki, but you, oh my God, this sounds so bad coming from me, but like, you are.
Like, that's the thing though, is that like, yeah, that's the thing, is that like, they're banking. Like, I was thinking at work today, I was like, I think Sylvie might be like a trans allegory. Like, they're trying to give you a story that resonates similarly to a trans person's without giving you a trans person's story. Like, it's like they're trying to tell you, you know, she was born in a way that people, like, she was supposed to be a man, she's a woman. Like, it's like, and that's dandy. I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's been executed perfectly though. Like, it just,
like, Loki, even though we still separating, like, in my mind, they did it kind of well to Sylvie, in my opinion, that I just see her as Sylvie and not a Loki. But still,
for sure, yeah.
When you look at it, she still, you know, had the Loki crown, and she's Asgardian, and their colors are exactly the same. And you can't help it but kind of seeing that Loki is so full of himself and so much for self-love that he was bound to fall in love with someone that was.
And here's the thing, is that, like, at least they had Mobius call him out for it. Like, at least they were like, oh my fucking God, are you kidding me? That's so narcissistic of you. You're so lame. Like, they really went there with it. They were like, okay, we know what people will say. We've got to insert someone saying what they will. You know what I'm saying? And it's a really complicated one, and I'm hoping that it just gets fledged out more. And I'm hoping that after this next episode, even maybe, or no, it won't be after this next episode, because Loki's in a different fucking universe. Like, it's like,
yeah,
like, we're not going to get them expanded upon. One of the things that also bothers me is I can see Loki falling in love with Sylvie. I don't really get why Sylvie would have fallen in love with Loki at this point.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I just went on about how I can't really see how Loki did either. However, I can see him falling in love with her more than I can see her falling in love with him. And at the end there, where Loki grabs her by the shoulders and he's like, this is all very new for me. And she's like, what? I don't think she was exactly... It didn't seem like she was exactly reciprocating, in my opinion. Like, this, the way I want to look at it, and the way I thought they would go, is that Loki feels such a strong connection, or such a kinship and bond to this person that he simply doesn't know how to express it any other way other than a romantic love, you know? And I'm hoping that's the route they still go, with Sylvie going, oh, like, no, not quite. You know, like that. I appreciate you and you are awesome. I kind of want to see Loki get shut down. And
I agree, because I feel like Sylvie had to, like you said earlier, she was like a little kid, a young girl, and she was going, like, she's a grown woman now, and her, like, I'm not gonna say like she's mid-age, but she's older than us. But
she is mid-30s, you know, like
yes.
that's a comfortable age to put her at.
And she had to survive all these years with no guide, learn how to use her powers with no guide. I'm not saying that Loki had a guide, but like his mom, you know, kind of helped him out. And I feel like she would look at Loki like, I had to go through all this hardship. You kind of really didn't have to go through things that I had to go through, because
she literally grew up in apocalypses. It's like,
yes.
Here's the thing. People, like, I don't want to make this sound like everybody deserves love. But if there's anyone who doesn't know how to love, it's someone who grew up in apocalypses. Like, it's like, I just don't think, and maybe that's the reason that she would fall in love, is that, like, she's probably literally never made a connection with anybody because of that. Which I guess I hadn't considered, but I don't know. It's just, we need more of Sylvie's character, because, like, all we've gotten is we know her backstory. She lived in apocalypses and wanted to destroy the TVA. She's a little like Loki.
Yes, and I really feel like, but I really don't think that Sylvie's going to shut Loki down, because of Loki's death before we saw the credits. Of course, the credit scene, it felt like I was watching Wanda and Vision. Like, it was just like, oh.
Well, and like, even the imagery, like, it was like spot on. The way Wanda looked up his Vision as he faded away, it was the exact same shot almost. Like, it was pretty spot on. But here's the thing. I was confident that, you know, she was going to shut it down. Here, hold on. I'm looking up an article that I read after I watched the episode.
Okay.
This is from Marvel.com. An interview with Michael Waldron, the writer of the series. Loki, inside the decision to have him, quote, fall in love with another version of himself, end quote. All the confirmation you need. That's what the story is gonna be about. Like, this was what Michael Waldron had to say. That was one of the cruxes of my pitch, that there was going to be a love story. We went back and forth for a little bit about it. Like, do we really want to have this guy fall in love with another version of himself? Is that too crazy? But in a series that, to me, is ultimately about self-love, self-reflection, and forgiving yourself, it just felt right that would be Loki's first real love story.
I rushed one?
Well, you know, I appreciate the comment about self-love, self-reflection, and forgiving yourself. But here's the thing. You can have it one way, or you can have it the other. They can't both be the same people and different. You know, like, I don't see that.
I get you.
Like, it's like, you can say, oh, it's all about self-love and self-reflection and forgiving yourself. But there's also a quote later on from Kate Herron, who is the director of the show. Let me see if I can find that. Who's a better match for Loki than himself? The whole show is about identity. It's about him, and he is on a very different path. He is on a different journey. He sees things in Sylvie that he is like, oh, I've been there. I know what you feel. But she's like, well, I don't feel that way. And I think that was kind of the fun thing about it. She is him, but she's not him. They've had such different life experiences. So just from an identity perspective, it was interesting to dig into that.
But that doesn't make sense, because y'all wrote it in a way and treated her personality and her character development to be separate from Loki. She's nothing like him. She's not incompetent like him. So
it's like, how is this about self-love? How is it about self-reflection and forgiving yourself? Like, frankly, they should have began the story with her being a different variant. Just a variant trying to take down the TVA. In my opinion, she should not have been a different variant of Loki.
No.
You know, like, it's like, she very well could have just been a variant Enchantress. It's like, but then you get the whole complicated thing, like, where's she been the whole time? Like, what's going on here? Like, she just wasn't written yet. That's the explanation. I don't know. I think that they really, really have some heavy lifting to do in these back 2 episodes for me to appreciate this.
But that's no way, because but Loki's on a different plane, and there's so many things that's going to happen in these last 2 episodes. First of all, we're going to get a backstory with, what's the judge name again? I forgot.
Ravonna Renslayer.
I was going to call her Ravonna. Okay. But
Ravonna.
We definitely are going to get a backstory with her. Definitely. Like, I really feel that.
Yeah, I think it's safe to guess that we'll probably even kick off next episode like that.
Not like a backstory, but her from the TVA going up to like the higher ranks like that.
Well, yeah, because we see that she has worked her way there. We saw that she was the hunter who brought Sylvie in for the first time, which is fascinating. It's even crazier seeing how the, time works. Sylvie's been gone for years. She's all growing up, and Judge Renslayer, same person. It's like.
But wouldn't it say that Sylvie been going around these apocalypses for like 1,000 and something years? Because, as Asgardians, as they age, that means she had to be going through this for a while. Like,
there's a distinct possibility. Well, and here's the thing too. I don't completely understand the Asgardian aging thing. Is it like they grow up like at the same rate as we do? They just happen to live their 20s and 30s a lot longer than we do?
I don't know. It's so confusing.
Yeah, I gotta guess. They just like grow at the same rate we do, and then they just stay there for a while. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be shitty if it was like
kind of like how comic books age their characters.
Yeah, it'd be shitty if it was like a Yoda Star Wars thing where he was going to be a baby until he was like 200, and then they start to sprout. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I'm going to guess it's like that. And with that information, with that idea, it could have been 25, 30 years ago that Sylvie got, removed from the timeline. It could have been 3,000. Like, it's like, it could literally be any time. So I am interested to see if we get like, a Sylvie age confirmation maybe, like, or is she at the point where she's like, I've lived outside of time for so long, I don't even actually know how old I am. Like,
yeah,
I just don't know. It is fascinating to think about.
And then also, see, I'm kind of confused how the writers were kind of like working the characters, what feel we supposed to get with them. Like, I understand you want the characters to not get a feel too quick, but it seemed like so many characters have so many different personalities. It's hard to like understand. Like with Sylvie, with the whole Loki connection, and then also Rovina, is that what you said? Ravonna. Like, she obviously felt remorse when Mobius died, and then it seemed like she wanted to kind of die when Sylvie was about to prune her. And then like when she was talking about Sylvie in the elevator, how she kind of like had this sinister or whatever, creepy smile. It just seemed like how pick a side.
Yeah, and here my thing on Ravonna in this episode, I got it like, especially there at the end, she had Mobius pruned, which, encouragingly enough, as soon as that happened, I went, oh, okay. So pruning doesn't mean people are dead. Like, I didn't think Mobius was dead here, and I still don't think he is. He went to a reality for Mobius's, for pruned Mobius's. But, seeing her reaction to that, and then her asking Sylvie, like, or telling Sylvie, do it, when she threatens to prune her. I think that was more like, for the love of God, kill me before I have to tell you things. You know, like it's like don't torture me into giving you information, please. Like, I'd rather you kill me so that I don't have to face the wrath of whoever is above me.
But
that's the way I interpreted it.
Yeah, because I think that she kind of knows that pruning, you kind of get sent to a reality that, I don't know if she knows this, but she probably does know that you kind of don't die.
It's so hard to tell what Ravonna knows. It's like, does she have a blind faith? Did she think the timekeepers were real? Before they got their heads chopped off. It didn't seem like that. She didn't seem too bewildered. She didn't seem
shocked, because if she didn't know that the timekeepers weren't real, she probably wouldn't have pruned Loki. Like, she would have been like, oh, whoa, that was a robot, an android this whole time. What?
That's a good point. Yeah, she probably did. She probably knew. However, there are still so many things that we don't like. For her to have pruned Mobius and had that reaction, I think she thinks pruning means you're done. And I think there's only one way to find out. I think there's only one way to find out pruning doesn't mean that. And it's when you get pruned. You know, it's like, and I am interested, like, with Mobius having been pruned, are we going to find a Mobius in reality by himself? Or are we going to find a Mobius in reality with a bunch of Mobiuses who have come to the revelation that they are from the sacred timeline? Like,
I would love to see a Dumb and Dumber version of him wherever he goes.
Oh, wouldn't that be outstanding? If it was just like, it's just a bunch of, I want to hear just like a sea of wow.
I want to see him from Armageddon.
Every time one of them pops up, they just in unison, wow.
Like, I was thinking of that because side note, because I was watching Armageddon and he was in it. I want him, if they ever go to space to get where he was, I want him to say, wow, we didn't even get the outer part of space. This is the beginning part of space. Like, I would love for him to say, it would just be so funny.
I saw a post that was like, this is what Mobius is waking up to in his pruned reality, and it was like Lightning McQueen and his character from Night at the Museum. Like, it was just a bunch of different versions of Owen Wilson's characters.
He was Lightning McQueen. Oh my goodness, I forgot all about that.
I'm in hillbilly hell.
Oh wow. Man, so all these people that got pruned, are they also going to explain, like, 'cause I'm pretty sure they pruned a lot of people. So are they going to explain, like, where all these different prisons are or wherever they are?
I think they might be banking on the idea, like, the multiverse is infinite. Like, it's like, this shit doesn't end. They go somewhere on their own. Like, it's like, I don't know that we'll get a ton of explanation as to where they are. Also interesting was the background of that last shot. I thought, like, on first watch, it was like a castle in ruins, because
like the Avengers Tower.
Yeah, but I saw Avengers Tower, and I was like, wait a second, this isn't a castle in ruins. This is stuff from their realities. I think, like, I think whatever gets pruned, like whenever they reset a timeline, say, the stuff they make disappear pops up wherever that person is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you remember how we watched at the beginning, the toys Sylvie was playing with get pruned away.
Yes.
I think there's a chance that, like, that has happened to a different Loki while they were at Avengers Tower. Maybe that Loki won. And they were like, oop, that can't happen. They just stepped right in, dropped a prune charge, and Avengers Tower is gone now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like...
But that makes you think, like, what the hell did that Loki do to Avengers Tower that just made it have to go? Because he had to, whatever he did to it, he had to spend a lot of time to make, like, whatever changes he did, like, reset. Like, oh man, it's so many... I have so many questions about the show than I had about WandaVision. It's so chaotic.
That's what's wild, is because everyone watching WandaVision was going, what the fuck is going on? Here's the thing, though. I still understood it 10 times better than I understand anything happening in this.
Yes.
Like, I had such a firmer grasp I had an idea of where it could go, at least to a point. I am officially out of ideas. Like, it's like, I don't have a theory to form about what could happen.
Nothing.
Like, it's like, I can speculate about what's been going on in the background this whole time, who's in charge, all this. I don't know how Loki gets out of the reality he was in. I don't know what happened to Mobius and if he comes back or how that happens. The only thing I can speculate is that, I think Sylvie will enchant Ravonna. And literally, that's it right now. I don't have a single other idea. And that one is obvious.
Like, this is the first... To me, it's like, this is the big Marvel project that I literally don't know. Like, I don't have nothing to go off. Like, I was watching fan theories about this episode, and this is only number 4. And what we have, like 2 more left. It's only like 6 total. Yeah,
only 6. Yeah.
So I'm like every other Marvel, like people was like, oh, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen. Literally every view I had about this was like, oh, just look at these Easter eggs. That's it. He don't have a theory. And other theories I've seen, people just pulling out their ass. Like, it's just...
Well, that's the thing. Is that like... And that's part of the fun of Marvel theories, is that like...
Yeah.
You do have little to work with. And but not always. Like, it's like... Even in WandaVision, like, they dropped more Easter eggs, I feel like. Like the colored thing showing up in the black and white world, and then the beekeeper and stuff. It's like, those are things you can speculate on.
Yes.
There aren't a lot of things in Loki that they are just presenting you like, this is obviously off. It's just like, the whole thing is obviously off. It's like, there is something going on that we have no inclination of.
How do you feel about, okay, now that we know that there was androids and, maybe someone that was puppeteering them or controlling them was probably laughing so hard, that's why they was laughing when one got cut off. Like, it was like a mock laugh, like, aha, you thought I was
that's
real.
how I took it, for
yeah,
sure.
Like someone was making fun.
It was like that
aha.
thing got its head cut off, and like that guy was like, ha, someone finally fucking figured out. Like,
yeah, like wow.
Holy shit, how did I keep this up for so long?
Like, do you also have a feel that person's also was using Miss Minute? Or like Miss Minute could be a part of it?
Yeah. Well, she has to be. Like, there's no way she doesn't tie in here, because Loki having that interaction with Miss Minutes in the second episode, what are you? How do you work? What's going on here? Like, I don't get it. I get the impression that her, having been the one who was watching it all, she can see literally everything. And we saw in that first episode when she was like, and you're probably thinking, what is this? How did I get here? Like, it was something Loki had literally just said seconds before. I think whoever is not voicing Miss Minutes, but making Miss Minutes say the things she says also controlled the timekeepers. You know what I'm saying?
This show is just so big. Like, I'm so confused. I literally don't. It's well done. Like, without the whole character dynamic between Loki and Sylvie, which is still a thing. But I'm just so in awe. And I do love the fact that, oh my God. Colton, literally, I have nothing. I'm just...
No, see, and that's where I'm at too. I'm excited to see, like, especially recording the later part of the pod later. I am so fascinated to hear what they have to say, because they're talking shit in the group chat like they've got a whole bunch of theories up their ass. I don't believe them yet. Like, I don't think they have a clue either. And if I'm ready to just be like, that's bad, that's bad, that's bad, that's bad. Not,
like, I
love all theories. I love all theories, and all of them are fun. But sometimes they are frankly bad.
He said they talking shit in the group chat, but I'm like,
And it's me too. I be having some terrible theories, and it's like it's not a knock. It's just that we play with what we've been dealt.
mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like whatever we can grasp, we'll try. And like we spent 10 minutes talking about the building falling on Loki and how he might have the time stone or even all the Infinity Stones, and it's like that means nothing. He's just telekinetic. You know.
Very good at playing Legos telekinetic, how he worked that building. But
Exactly.
part of me, I know this is a reach, but part of me feels like, not probably in this show, but I feel like Loki, if he does wind up, come back to the MCU, like if he does wind up coming back to the MCU, like fully, not just in his TV show, but I feel like that we might get Doctor Strange, Wanda, and Loki possibly like meeting together. Like because they obviously are showing Loki can do a much more magical shit than we have seen him do. So it's like I don't feel like they're just gonna show that without reason.
Well, and I think you're right. And also, I think we are a shoo-in to have him introduced back into the MCU. Because here's the thing. You don't kill him in Infinity War. I had this take that, like, they're not going to kill him back to back. You know, like, you don't just put him in Infinity War and then kill him in Loki. You know, like, it's like,
well, they kind of
you don't do that.
Vision.
But now that they did do that to Vision, but they brought back White Vision. See, like, they're
okay.
They always got something.
Well, they brought Sylvie. But
if they wanna like do that, I'm cool with it. But now we would have had them kill Loki in Infinity War. Pull a fast one on us in episode 4. Like, up to that point, you're kind of under the impression that pruning means people dead. So, like, I know as soon as that happened, I went, whoa. You know, like, no. And then I thought about it, and I was like, okay, well, obviously pruning doesn't mean dead now. So I just don't see them killing him for a third time in 2 appearances. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, okay, because they also play his death in Thor: The Dark World, Infinity War. Yeah.
See, that might be the thing that like makes it like we're doing it again. Like it's like I don't know if they fall back on that again. Like if they head fake us with like a dead Loki at the end of this series, and then he like pops up in Multiverse of Madness, I'll be pissed. If he dies at the end of this series, please keep him dead.
It's like dead.
We've done this 7 times now or something like that. It's like this dude dies every day.
I just don't want them to have a moment at the end of Sylvie, they finally kiss and stuff like that, and then he dies, and then Sylvie is pissed.
I'm going to tell you right now. If what we saw in the second episode doesn't make any reality redline, like everything was fine, the sacred timeline was fine, and she bombed that shit, they made it seem like it was going to be like, oh my god, this is infixable, it's completely out of tact, and then we cut back to the TVA and it was just fine. The thing that's going to descend the multiverse into madness is Loki and Sylvie kissing. Because they teased how close it would get when they had a romantic moment, and they saved them out of that. They're going to reunite when Loki gets back. They're going to make the fuck out. And that line is going to spike to the red line. It's going to be like, nope, multiverse and madness now.
But I love that so much. And I'm not going to be offended by this, but won't that kind of be like a big fuck you to like the bisexual community? Because it's like you
100%. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's what's going to happen.
Yeah, it does that does make sense to like make that spike. But I'm on the lines where like, I really feel like bisexual people are going to be like, so you confirmed that she is, but a straight relationship did this. Like, what was the point of even putting that in there? Y'all could have just left that out. Like, it just seemed like no sense.
It's like, it would be like another big fuck you on top of the, like, Loki isn't actually gender fluid fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, and see, I don't want to dismiss a bi person's experience and saying they can't have a straight relationship, like, because my girlfriend is bisexual, you know, like, I know that can happen.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally.
However, it is interesting that you would implement that into a story and then be like, yeah, these two are gonna fall in love.
Yeah, cause it's like you put that, and people, it's like, yeah, I've seen people on my Facebook arguing about I had someone that actually follows the Norse religion heavily, and they made a big debate about Loki being that way. Like, I've seen some debates about that, and then just to reel back on it, and then just be like, okay, these two bisexual characters are going to wind up being together. It's like, why did y'all put that in there? Like, for what? For fan service? By fan service? It's like,
see, and that's the thing, is that, like, now it feels like pandering.
Yes, it's like it would have felt more genuine if they don't end up together. And maybe that is my biggest hang up about the whole thing, is that, like, I don't know, you didn't tease it. Like, you didn't tease that, like, they were going to end up, like, because even last week, me and you were talking about how we didn't think Loki was going to even have a love interest. Like, he was done. He was out. He wasn't going to have a guy romance. He wasn't going to have a girl romance. That just wasn't in the cards for him. They've completely said fuck you to that by the next episode. Because apparently him and Sylvia are in love. So fast, but yeah.
And see, that article more than anything pissed me off. It's a Marvel.com article that says, inside the decision to make Loki fall in love with another version of himself. And because, like, the writer is talking about it like that, I know that's the direction they're headed, and it's not even one that was that evident yet. You know what I'm saying? It's just interesting. I don't know if I like it.
It's just so, I'm not saying, like, it's dumb, it's stupid. Like, if they would have a longer season, maybe even 9 episodes, then it could have been worked a little bit. But then, like, I would have liked it if, yes, I would have liked it when they touched each other, that Nexus event, like, something magical would ever happen to them to save them from that planet, instead of the TVA coming in and arresting the fuck out of them. You know, like, I would have bought that a little bit more. Like, wow, them just touching each other saved them from a whole apocalypse. Wow.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, is that, like, at this point, it has to be some sort of, like, for me to appreciate it, mythical connection.
Yes.
Like, there was this thing in Star Wars, like in the sequel trilogy, with the two main characters, Rey and Kylo Ren. They were a, quote, dyad in the Force.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the best explanation for the relationship they had. It's just, they are two who are one. Mythically. Like, this was prophesized, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you want to go that route with it, like, there's some sort of weird Asgardian prophecy that's like, that's gonna happen. Like, I don't know. It's like, it's gotta be something of, like, epic proportions for me to believe that them holding hands and looking into each other's eyes caused that big of a spark, and it's just them being in love after knowing each other for a day.
And looking at the credit scene, all of the other Lokis was, like, male. Even the President Loki or Election Loki in the trailer, like the one that had the badge and stuff. They all seem male. And I'm like, is Sylvie the only woman? But then again, it sounds like a fuck you, because you both put them both as bi, and, like, so the whole thing y'all was leaning towards was a straight relationship. But it just seems so all over the place. It's like, what you was going to say.
Oh, so Loki is bi. There's one female Loki. Infinite male Lokis. And he falls in love with the female Loki. Like, it's like, I don't know. It's not a great look. It's like, and I don't know. It's tough, but
it's still Disney.
However, Still Disney we're talking about. See, and that's the thing, is that like, we're talking about fucking like Bob Chapek or whatever, the fucking CEO of Disney. It's like, this guy's not gonna do anything that's gonna knock us on our asses. It's just probably gonna fall back on the usual.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, WandaVision was all about the nuclear fucking family.
It was the nuclear family. Yeah, oh my God, it was.
2 kids, a dog, and a husband and wife. Like, in a house with a white picket fence.
And a husband and a wife. Oh my God. I didn't even think about it that way. Oh, Colton. Ooh, you're going to be trending for what you just said. It's going to be a canceled Disney moment in your name. It's gonna be...
Wouldn't that be crazy?
And then Wanda gonna fall in love with White Vision. What? White Vision?
White?
Oh man.
It's funny, though. It's and they tried to take a step in the right direction with the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I think for the most part, they succeeded. In terms of what they had Sam Wilson be about and what he said. And even Isaiah Bradley's character talking about how, like, no self-respecting black man would ever carry that Captain America shield.
Yes.
Like, that's some serious commentary. Like, that's some However, you know who they still did wrong? The young black woman. Like, it's like they just killed off a revolutionary. Like, you killed off the leader of a revolutionary movement against the government.
Damn.
That's straight out of reality. Like, it's like...
It's Colton, you gonna be,
It's a lot of conservative undertones to Marvel shit.
It's a lot of conservative undertones. It's Disney. That's why you say
they don't make it obvious. They don't slap you over the head with it, but they insert enough stuff so you'll like, well, of course that character had to die. She was fighting against the government. Of course Wanda and Vision have the 2 kids and a family. It's I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot.
That's just so much. I'm surprised that Sam Wilson became a Captain America at the end of this point, based on what you're saying. It's just so like...
And see, that's the thing, is that, like, I think that is phenomenal. Like,
yes.
that was something that, like, that is great.
Like, when Black Panther came out, I even had my white friends complain about this. They was like, we are all, Black Panther, yeah, but another cis white male guy from the CIA from America is on our side, and we're fighting. It's just...
You have a white agent of the state aiding Wakanda? However, he was fighting against Eric Killmonger.
He was.
Who wanted the exact opposite of what the state wants. You know what I'm saying?
Vastly opposite.
At least that makes sense.
Yeah, at least that makes sense. But it's like, Colton, you just brought up so much conservative undertones and this stuff that I did not even think of.
And I was actually gonna bring up Black Panther because obviously the movie ends in a really good way with T'Challa opening the borders of Wakanda to the world and refugees and stuff.
Yeah.
So it kind of if they hadn't done that, it'd have been a little bit of a rough look though, because T'Challa had some pretty anti immigration and opening their borders.
Heavy anti-immigration, yes.
Yeah, and in a time like 2018, when the movie came out, there was a reigning president who really agreed with that. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Disney.
I'm glad they ended up going the route they did, obviously. So it dismisses that, but like, still presenting these arguments.
Is Disney as progressive as we think? Like, this is how we just look at it.
I don't know. Have you ever seen
I'm
the post about like
fun at it, but still, it's just like, what? Oh, you're going to be viral after this. I'm going to post this everywhere. Oh,
wow. So.
Oh man, but also I watched this show called Lovecraft Country. Yes.
Oh, Lovecraft
County. Yes. The man is playing Creed. I mean, no, not Creed. The Conqueror.
Yeah. Jonathan Majors.
What's his name? No,
Kang.
I was about to say Kong. Kang, the Conqueror, and Hunter B-15. They was both in that show, and I just found it like funny, like how they're in this. I mean, well, not saying that he's going to be in it, but like she's right here, and it's like, what?
Well, I don't know if it was you I was talking to last week when I was like, they finally found someone who might be able to keep a secret, with Jonathan Majors being like, I have no idea what you're talking about, to a question about King the Conqueror.
You were talking to me and Joe. Yeah.
And so, I mean, he is a phenomenal actor. I would love to see him as a villain in the Marvel Universe. It'd be outstanding. I would also love to see him as a Green Lantern in DC projects. But yeah, I feel like that would fit really well.
Yeah, he could save the DC universe.
It'd be pretty nice. It'd be pretty nice. But Warner Brothers has a whole slew of issues on their own, away from like even more evidently than Disney. So, but man, I don't have anything else to say about this episode. Overall, I enjoyed it. There are obviously a lot of critiques to have with it. Doesn't take away from the fact that it was still a fun watch. And I look forward to whatever they've got coming at us in these last two episodes. What about you, Aurora? Closing thoughts?
No, the only thing I really want them to really explain is the crocodile alligator Loki. I would love for them to explain that. That's a whole thing for me. But I love the fact that I come after you guys broke every scene down. I just come at the end just fun and poking holes at stuff that, I love it. I love it.
Well, and that's why I like talking to you and setting it up for post show, because it's like, it's a lot more fun to just back and forth off you. So thank you again for joining us on Loki's Losers. This was the Penny Bloom podcast. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Aurora Carter. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure. Remember, follow us on Twitter at PennyBloomPod, on Instagram at PennyBloomPodcast. Head to the Patreon, patreon.com/CoroBloom, where you'll find over like 11 hours of exclusive content at this point, which has only been heard by like 4 people, which is pretty cool. Not a lot of people, but you could be a part of a very exclusive club. Remember, peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves.